What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at some Star Wars Hasbro Black Series Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary figures. So we just have these two figures today. I was hoping to have a third, but I realized the order got canceled, so I don't have the figure. But first we're going to look at R2-D2. So cool to have the new R2-D2 in the bigger style. Comes with a lot of cool accessories that we can plug into him. It's going to be really cool there. A nice picture with him and C-3PO there in the background. So that looks cool in the classic like Kenner card style. And then we of course have the picture on the back. So I was hoping to get this Darth Vader, but like I said, unfortunately our order got canceled and I never realized it, so I don't have that Darth Vader to look at, and it's like sold out everywhere, so hopefully I'll get it at some point. But yeah, at least this R2 looks really cool, and like I said, we'll have to compare with that older one since, like I said, this is supposed to be bigger in size, so that's cool. And then we also have Jabba the Hutt, which of course I love Jabba the Hutt, so getting him in a black series, a newer version at least, and comes with like part of his throne, I guess you'd say, with like the back piece and his hookah, and even comes with Salacious. Crumb is really cool. And then of course we have a picture with our older figures there as well, so pretty cool. And then again in a classic like Kenner box style, whatever you want to call it, here with all sorts of pictures. We have pictures on the top sort of showing what you can do and the different stuff it comes with, so that looks pretty cool as well. So I'm excited to check both of these figures out, so let me get them open and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with our Jabba the Hutt, whose real name is Jabba the Hutt, which is a Hutt gangster and crime lord from Now Hutta that operates his criminal empire from his palace on Tatooine. And in the movies we see he put a bounty on smuggler Han Solo, who failed to repay him for lost cargo and ended up being captured by Darth Vader and delivered to Jabba frozen in carbonite by Boba Fett. This led to a rescue by Lando Calrissian, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca, Leia Organa, and Luke Skywalker to free Han Solo, but the group was captured and Jabba decided to feed them to the Great Pit of Carkoon's Sarlacc Pit. And while aboard his sail barge, his new personal slave Leia choked him to death with the chain that imprisoned her. So he looks pretty cool here. He's going to be pretty basic and simple. It's Jabba the Hutt. It looks relatively exact to the original one. I'll show you that comparison. Just they did a few minor changes, but overall looks pretty cool. He is nice and big here, so to fit him all on camera, you can see that. Of course, it's going to be hard to show scale wise, but when we bring in other characters as we go through here, you'll see that. But overall looks pretty cool. If you've seen the channel before, you know I've mentioned I love Jabba the Hutt, so anything related to him. So when I saw this pack was being released, I'm like, I have to have it. I have the old Jabba, but this having more accessories and stuff, I was like, I've got to have this Jabba. And I think overall he looks pretty good. So we have like this tannish sort of color in the midsection here, and then green everywhere else, and of course different shades and coloring going on just to add to different colors. But you can see around to the back, so down to his tail there and around to the back and up. Now there is some different texture going in here, so this is like a more like squishy, I want to say rubbery plastic. It's not really, it's just a thin, so you can like sort of squeeze it a little bit there, but it's still all pretty rough. But once you go from the split here up, it's like a real like rubbery, so there's like almost like a skin texture to it. Of course it's like sticky and stuff, but it's hard to really show, but it just has some like texture to it and stuff, like rubberiness. So like you can see here, you sort of like grab like this and stuff, so like I said, it adds some rubberiness to it. But the arms are pretty solid, and we'll have some movements there and just very minor movements around, but I think it looks pretty good. I love the eyes. The eyes look much more realistic and like sort of creepy and stuff. I like how this one's like closed a little bit more compared to this one being open. His nostrils, where he has a bigger nostril compared to there. His mouth open, that has of course like slime and stuff sort of running down his mouth open with his tongue in there, so we can do that, and it has some functions with the arm. So overall I think it looks pretty cool, but it is pretty simple and basic. You can see some of his like suction cups there and stuff on the bottom, so overall pretty cool for this Jabba design. Now movements, we do have some movement at like the waist or whatever you want to call it there, so where that joint is can twist around, so you can have it this way. Of course his body doesn't line up, but you can sort of twist it so then he can be crawling along like we see in the special edition A New Hope, where he's there confronting Han Solo. So it's cool, you can have that, but like I said, with his body design it doesn't match that way. And then we do get the arms, so there's some movements. The arms can like come up to 90 and of course rotate around. As you can hear, there is some popping in there because it's sort of connected into the joint, so but you can move it back and forth. Like I said, it just pops a little. And then we go to the single elbow joint that can bend pretty close to 90 and has rotation, and then the wrist will also twist all the way around and hinge back and forth, so you just get very minor movements in there. You can kind of see as you move the arms, the mouth does open, so it can be like he's talking. So if you want to recreate a scene, you can have it like Jabba's talking. I just don't like that his tongue's always sticking out there because that makes it a little bit more awkward with the tongue always sticking out when it moves. But that's really all the movements in the body wise there is for Jabba. Like I said, nothing else really moves on it, which for me it's fine, just him sitting here. You get some minor arm movements to be able to adjust and hold stuff like accessories he comes with, so that's fine with me. And just for that comparison, I'll bring in the older one here, and you'll see there's very minor differences. Like I said, I feel they changed up the eyes a little. They look a little bit more realistic on this newer one. The body's gonna be pretty much exactly the same. Like the colors have very minor like difference in color wise and stuff. And then the arms, like you can see his tattoo there on his arm, so that little design there is still on the arm. Everything else, like body wise, it's gonna be exact same body. They just, you know, sort of repaint it, add different colors. Like I said, the eyes look a little bit more realistic on this newer one. The slime isn't as noticeable on this newer one as it was on this older one. You can see those white streaks coming down. But the one way I always know the difference, like the tail, obviously the eyes is one hint to tell me it's the newer one. But on this old one, he has the tongue there, but it's attached down, where this one sort of free floats in the middle of his mouth there, where this one's sort of attached down in the front here. So that's one way I always know, but it still has the same function where you move the arms and the mouth opens, and everything else about it's the same twist there at the waist thing. So all those are going to be exactly the same. So yeah, just repeats of Jabba there. Just this one, like I said, looks a little bit more realistic compared to that other one. But what's cool with this one that I like is that it does also come with, I want to say his throne, but it's at least part of his throne. So we do get part of his back piece. I call it like a backrest, but we have this that can pop together. So we have some joints here that pop together. So we have this that like I call his backrest or whatever. So you take and sit this behind Jabba, and he sort of leans up against it. And what's really cool is it's kind of cut out a little bit almost perfectly, so it kind of fits around with the curve of his body there. So it kind of fits back in there as well. And then it comes with his hookah. So we have the hookah with the green liquid and stuff, and have the little hookah pipe we can put into his hand and then put into his mouth, so he can be inhaling some of the hookah. And then it does also have what at least what I saw online is supposed to be a small tank that we see in the movie contains patty frogs. So we just have this little green stuff at the bottom. I assume this was just all the same thing, but what I read online, it says he has a tank that contains those frogs so he can eat them whenever he wants. So we have that making up his throne there. Of course, we just don't have the big dais that he sits on. It'd be cool if this came with it. I am getting the vintage collection one that will come with that new dais, so whenever that arrives, and I'll do a review on that, you'll see what it more should look like. I wish they would have included one with this, but with it being Black Series and large scale, it'd have to be, you know, at least this big, which is really big and would cost a lot more money. But overall, I think that's pretty cool. But the final thing he comes with is he also comes with Salacious Crumb, which is a Kowakian monkey lizard from the planet Kowak, who's serving as the court jester of Jabba the Hutt, with a deal to amuse Jabba at least once a day, and he could eat and drink as much as he wants in return. But he ended up dying on the katana when it exploded. So poor little Salacious here, but it looks pretty cool. Nice small creature. I want to say this is maybe our first Kowakian monkey lizard that we've got figure wise. I can't remember. I know they've had some, you know, with like the creature pack. That was like the Disney Parks exclusive, but we were never able to get our hands on that. And then I know they have like that newer Christmas one and stuff, but I think this is our first basic version. But movement wise, doesn't have a whole lot, but he does have some, so his head can twist all the way around and it will look down. Now his joints are really stiff and some are almost breaking, so I'm kind of worried about that, but he can look down that far and then up where he was there. So there's some movements in the neck. The shoulders, this shoulder is really bad, so I got to be careful with it. Like the material is already sort of like ripping, so we'll do this arm, but the arm does come up at least to 90. I'm sure you can get over with the joint design. Yeah, over 90 there, but it goes back and forth and has rotation. No other rotation in the hand, no elbow or wrist twist. And then we go down to the hips so they can rock back and forth and come out to the side and back and forth. And then they have knee joints as well, so a little bit of knee bends back and forth there. And then all the way back to the tail, we can get it where it hinges up and down and can twist around there as well. So he does have some movements. You can easily sort of get him moved around here to be sitting in a sitting position. And with this, you can have him sort of sitting on Jabba's tail, so he could be sitting up on Jabba's tail, or down in here where we see him in the movie, sort of down at the end of the tail. So just different variations of where you can sit him if you want, which is pretty cool. So I like having that as well. So we get the throne piece with the hookah and Salacious thrown in as well with this set, along with our newer version of Jabba. So that I really like this set for that alone. And of course with this we can add in a bunch of characters, but I think we'll wait and do that at the end. We can add all in our other characters of Black Series that appear in Jabba's palace that we have so far. So pretty cool to at least have this Jabba and the throne. So I think this is an awesome set. And we're also looking at the new R2-D2, which is an R2 series astromech droid manufactured by Industrial Automaton with a masculine programming. He's a smart, spunky droid with an adventurous and independent attitude that has served many masters over his life. And in Return of the Jedi, we see he's given as a gift along with C-3PO to Jabba the Hutt by Luke Skywalker as part of the plan to rescue Han Solo. He becomes a waiter on Jabba's sail barge until Luke gives him the signal to launch Luke's lightsaber to him on the desert skiff, and then he helps free Leia from the chains and escapes the sail barge. And later in the movie, we see him assist with the Rebel Strike Team mission on Endor to disable the shield generator protecting the Death Star 2. So overall, he looks pretty cool here. Again, this is a newer version. He's going to be much bigger. I'll show you that when we bring in the older one for comparison, and C-3PO as well. He'll be much bigger in size, but overall looks, exactly like R2-D2. Nothing new or different out of the ordinary with this. Looks good with this headpiece with the blue and silver design. Looks good. His eye there in the center, the little light down here that turns blue and red throughout the movie, and then almost like this little thing that can look around and stuff. So pretty cool with that design. Overall, we still have the same little knob on the back of the head on top and everything with the blue design there and the blue in the different sections going around. Then is mostly all white body, but has some blue as well going down around the different centers. Of course, I don't know what all he's got going on, so I don't know what to name these pieces. His two legs off to the side, so his two identical legs there, and we have his third leg there in the center that will pop out, and then all sorts of little functions and compartments that'll go wrong with him, showing his different features, which may not all be shown here, but overall his features are he's got rocket boosters, holo projector, periscope, fire extinguisher, lightsaber compartment, buzzsaw, shock prod, data probe, utility arm, and scomp link. So a lot of functions going on there for R2, and we'll see a lot of those with this. So moonwise won't really do much, like his head does twist all the way around, so it can twist all the way around there, and then his legs do twist all the way around as well, and has what I'm going to call like ankle rockers, so it can rock back and forth there just a little side to side. And then we do have the third leg in the middle that it's really hard to get out for some reason. I don't know why they didn't make this easier. Like I know on other figures, like you do something with the center or push down or something and it would come out, but you have to just grab a hold of it, which is pretty difficult. So I had to use the little tool to finally get the leg pulled out there, but then it also has the ankle rocker as well, so it can rock back and forth. So there you can get it sitting with all three of its feet down out, and it can roll around like we see R2 do in the movie, which is pretty fun. So that's really moonwise all that he does, nothing beyond that, but he does come with all the little accessories feature wise and stuff. So with this, we have different compartments that open. So we have the ones on his head that we can open up. I think there's just two of them if I remember right. Now, like on the older R2, he had little nubs so you could easily get a hold of them and open, but with these ones you just have to find and sort of grab a hold and open them up. So we get two different ones here, so we'll just go and pull these off. So it looks like just those two sections open up there on the top of his head. Of course, we have these little things we'll have to worry about, so we'll just leave those open to put his accessories in. We do have these little blue things on the front of him that do open up, so like in the movie, like when he gets electrocuted and stuff, all his little compartments and everything sort of open up. So there, both of those can open up. They don't really have any other function beyond that, just that they can open up, again, just to show the features like in the movie. And then we have the compartments on the side here, which again, the older figure I liked more because it had little nubs you could grab onto and open, but these ones don't, so sometimes they're hard to open. But you can open both of those there, and you see we have three little sections on each side to be able to add the different accessories in. So I did like the old one of that as well. It kind of show you had just an accessory folded up in there, and you would open it and fold them down, where this one you can pick and choose, so we get more accessory options, but I don't like that it's not on the little arm to fold in and out. But we'll start up top first. So first we get the little periscope, so we have this so it can stick up and sort of look around. We'll go and just stick this in the back section here, so he has that little periscope up. And then we do also have the scanner, like little satellite dish, whatever, that sort of spins around, especially we see that in Empire Strikes Back when he's searching for Luke on Hoth. So we'll just stick that down in there as well. So you have those two options there on the top of his head. And then for the front of his body, we get different little hands. So first we have like a little clamp, so a little clamp that you can grab onto things. We'll just kind of pick and choose where we put these. So we'll have the little clamp hand on that side. We get what I assume this is supposed to be the fire extinguisher. It just looks like a little blaster or something, but I'll call it the fire extinguisher. We'll put it on this side so it sticks out of there. We get this little arm that I'm not sure exactly what this is, because like when reading the stuff, we have the shock prod, data probe, and utility arm. Not sure if this is any of those, but just this little thing that has like the arrow design to it. So I'll stick that in this next section here, so it's sticking out of there. And then finally we get the scomp link, so the little thing that sticks out and goes into control panels and stuff to open the door, like on the door bunker and everything. So we have that arm as well. We'll go and stick in this side. And some of these are kind of hard to stick in. They're just holes in there, so you just have to get them pegged in, so it can be quite difficult. And if you're not careful, it can break the arm, so be easy with that. But there he's got all of his accessories now sticking out of him, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I don't really care too much much for him design-wise. I like the design of the older one a little bit better, but it's cool to have this newer one with the size that it is. So let me go and push this center leg in a little bit just so we can shorten him up so we can have him standing straight up. And we'll bring the older one in, and there you can see the size difference. So apparently this one is supposed to be the new, like, more accurate size, the size he was in the movie, compared to this older one, which is obviously much shorter, as you can see. And then I like the white on this older one compared to this newer one. It's a lot of yellowness, so not sure if it's designed that way, which of course, you know, being deeper into the movies with being Return of the Jedi could be dirtier, but I do like the white a little bit more. But again, with this older one, has the little compartments that open up with the arms that sort of fold out there, so you can have the different arms on each of those, and then the top has the little sections that do come off, and like I said, have the little like nubs there, so it's much easier to get those on and off. But I do like having the more functions and like the accessories and stuff to go along with this newer one. And then of course we can also bring in C-3PO, so you can see the height difference compared to C-3PO. So you can see he comes up about hit to his midsection there, where the other one's set just below his waist. So definitely it's cool to have this nice bigger one, so like more realistic to the movie, and fits a lot better alongside C-3PO there with our two friends. So very awesome to have this new R2-D2 with all the accessories and the bigger size, which is the most important thing to me at least. But overall, the last one did have a lot of stuff I liked about it as well. So with both of our characters together of the Jabba the Hutt and R2-D2, we can bring in all the other different characters that belong in Jabba's palace that we have in Black Series so far. So there we have all our Black Series figures that fit along Jabba's palace. So very cool that we can start to build a diorama of Jabba's palace. Of course, we just need more background, like obscure characters, which I doubt they'll do, but it'd be awesome if they finally did in Black Series. But very cool to have all these characters together. I absolutely love having this new Jabba and the new R2. But let me know what you thought of them down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.